Hi everyone, welcome to our first remotely done tutorial for today. First of all, apologies for what you're looking at here. This is a model that I did ages ago, just to practice a few subtool kind of things or tools in ZBrush when I was learning, and also how to use polypaint and things like that. And I had also just seen the Hobbit, so I was trying to kind of create some kind of orcish look. Although now that I think about it, it looks more like some kind of weird-ass, messed-up demon or vampire. Right, so today's video will be all about subtools in ZBrush. So implementing subtools in ZBrush is a great idea if you're dealing with different materials or different things that you want to have disconnected from the main mesh. So for example, here we have a different subtool for our teeth, and different subtool for the tongue as well, and same thing for the eyes. I find it useful, definitely good, to kind of keep different subtools if you also want to texture your objects with a different material. Teeth will definitely have a different color and a different shine compared to the gums of a creature. But of course it really depends by your concept as well. So for example, I know that some of you might be thinking of keeping everything in the same mesh, and you might find it just a good idea to extrude the teeth from the face mesh and just kind of keep them connected in this way. But I would only suggest that if you are planning on giving the same color to the teeth that you're doing with the face. I mean, it's not uncommon. I mean, different concepts have something like this going on for themselves, and as long as you can make it work, it's fine. But if you're taking heavy reference from an existing animal, you will know that teeth are a hard surface object that is usually separate from the skin. It's not connected. So just to kind of create the shape of the teeth, you can approach it two ways. You can either go to a sphere in ZBrush, and you can start kind of modeling the shape here into a different subtool. Oops. Make Polymesh 3D first. There you go. And if you want, you can just kind of create the basic shape of a tooth. And once you're happy with it, you can just go back to your main tool and just click Append. And here you can import it here, and then kind of position it where you want it to. But just because the tooth is like a very simple hard surface shape, I sometimes just like to work in Maya and then import different variations of teeth from that software. So as you can see in this Maya file here, I've created different variations of teeth. I've just kind of created my main shape, and then I duplicated it, and then I modified it according to different sizes. I would suggest to do something like this, just because no creature usually has one tooth that is always the same size and same sharpness and also thickness. I would suggest you to kind of create variations, just because the more variations you have, the more realistic your creature will end up being. If you have only one size, your creature risks to look kind of artificial. So these shapes are very easy to make. You can just go to Create and Polygon Primitives and go to Cylinder. We won't be dealing with that many sides. You can just lower the subdivision axis to just 6 and the height to maybe 4. We also don't want to be dealing with any triangles with our meshes. It's always a good idea to try and avoid them, so you can just go ahead and delete all of these from the top and the bottom. Just press delete. And you don't want to be dealing with 6 sides either, so what you can also do is just you go to Vertex and connect 2 opposing sides, then go to Edit Mesh, click Connect. There are different tools to make changes to your mesh, but I like to sometimes just use a combination of a face and edge mode to just kind of give the thickness, or just kind of change the basic shape of my mesh. There you go. And if you want to kind of increase the amount of polygons, you can just go to mesh and then smooth, so you have something like this. And if you want to modify it further, you can also use all the modeling tools and brushes that you have in Maya. Just if you want to kind of move the mesh around a bit, feel free to do something like this. Let's say you want something really spiky, you can just create this kind of shape. Or if you want to flatten the top, you can use this brush here. There we go, something like that. And if you want to smooth it a bit, you can just kind of press Shift and gently press. Right, before we import all of these shapes into ZBrush, it will be a good idea to just rename them. So this will be my fifth tooth. And they all need to be in the same transform location, so make sure that all your meshes are zeroed down. There we go. And then you can just select them all. Go to File, Export Selection, and make sure that you are exporting in an OBJ format. And just go to Teeth. There we go. And then what you need to do, you can just go back to ZBrush, and we will go to a separate subtool. Click Import, select our teeth, and they'll come over looking all merged, but in order to undo that, what you can do is you just need to go to Split, and then select Split to Parts. So now all your teeth will be separate. And then what we need to do is that we need to select one of our teeth, press B for brush, and then we want to create something called Inserting Multi-Mesh. So as soon as you do that, you will be creating a brush tool with all your teeth with different variations. So what that means is that, for example, if you have just one tooth visible right now and this is your main mesh, say you have symmetry on, you can now use this brush to create and insert different teeth into your mesh. So we'll pretty much be doing the same thing for our example model here. So say that I want to start by inserting some canines to this mesh. First thing I actually want to do is that I don't want to work from my original face mesh, so I will just be selecting the face and click on Duplicate. And what I also want to do is that I want to lower my face mesh to the lower subdivision. So I can just go to Geometry, lower it down a bit, and then delete higher. So you're definitely not working from your original one, you're just working from a duplicated version. So you just select the lower subdivision version that you have here, and you can start creating the teeth to the position you want them. And then if you want to move them to the correct position, because at the moment this just looks wrong, you can just select your Move, Scale and Rotate brushes. You can click on this little icon here to center your pivot. Here we go. Always remember to work from symmetry if you want to create two teeth in the same location, pretty much. If you want everything to be symmetrical, always remember to press X for symmetry. And here we go, I'm fairly happy with that. And we can just go back into draw mode if you want and select a different tooth, and we can just kind of create something smaller here. Go back into our move brush, we'll center it first. There we go. Oh, let's bring them a bit to the front. That's better. And of course then you can just go back to your face mesh sculpt and just kind of bring out these shapes more to incorporate the teeth a bit better. So of course teeth have a volume even under the gums, so there'll have to be a similar shape that kind of envelops around them. So I think this is good enough for an example today. Because you're pretty much still working on the same layer, you don't want to keep this duplicate face, but you want to keep where the teeth are. So all you need to do is just you need to do the same that you did before. You just need to maybe group split could work. Yep, group split is fine. And then you can just delete this subdivided mesh that we have here. Just select it and click on delete. And now we can just make this one visible again. Just gonna, there we go. Whoops. Right. So now you have a basic shape at least to work from. If you want, you can also select the teeth and dynamesh them to add further detail to it. By doing that, you can just go to Geometry, Dynamesh. Remember to lower your blur and subprojection, we don't need those. There we go. And of course what you can also do is that you can just, as I mentioned before, model a little bit to kind of create a shape that complements the teeth that you've just added. Something like that. There we go. To be honest, instead of using Dynamesh, you could also just go ahead and subdivide your shape even further. So something like this. I don't think Dynamesh will be absolutely necessary, just because you won't be extruding it or making any changes to it. The basic shape is already there. We can do the same thing for the other ones as well. Just go to Geometry and Divide. Oops. Sorry, I had masking selected first, so now that they're unmasked, you can just go ahead and divide them further. If you wanted to kind of give them an even harsher look now that they're subdivided further, you can just use Trim Dynamic or Adaptive to kind of give it that kind of sharper feel to it. Just because canines, especially in a carnivore, are known for being very, very sharp. And there we go. You should be doing pretty much the same for the upper part of the mouth as well as the lower part. And the amount of teeth is completely up to you. And there we go.